Hi, I'm Shirley Scott from Erie, Pennsylvania, and you're listening to White Canes Connect.
Hey there, PA Federationists. Welcome to another episode of White Canes Connect, presented by the National Federation of the Blind of Pennsylvania. My name is David Goldstein. I am the treasurer of the Keystone Chapter. Joining me today is co-host and Keystone Chapter second vice president, Lisa Bryant. Lisa, how are you today?
I'm doing well now. We had quite an eventful state convention that we're coming off the heels of. A lot of stuff happened that was not on the agenda. You got an injury, I got sick, another one of our buddies fell, but we're all still here and somewhat no worse for wear. We wanted to get some reflections from someone who had gone to the convention for the first time, and Shirley Scott is our guest, her first convention ever.
Yeah, it was nice to meet her there. I talked to her at the NFB Newsline desk, and it was great to get her feedback on everything that she did at the convention, minus the illnesses and injuries and whatnot. So let's take a listen to Shirley. Shirley, thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Shirley, it is nice to meet you again. Met you for the first time at our state convention in Pittsburgh, which is why we wanted to have you on. We wanted to get some thoughts from the perspective of a first-time convention goer. So welcome to the show. Before we get into your reflections, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're originally from, and can you tell us a little about your vision loss?
Sure. I'm originally from Oil City, Pennsylvania. I moved to Erie 2 years ago to be closer to my son. I have macular degeneration, which has gotten worse over the past 10 years. So I don't see details anymore, and everything is very cloudy.
That is very, very similar to my condition. It's just that it's not the age-related macular degeneration, but you're sort of speaking my language. It's that central vision, that macula, where everything is sharp and focused for everybody else. But, when you have that deterioration, it's very difficult to navigate.
That's right. I was diagnosed with it at 48 years old.
Oh,
My
wow.
left eye was the worst. And now my right eye is bad. So I don't drive anymore.
What kind of support have you gotten along the way? Like what sort of, are you using voiceover? Are you using assistive technology? Do you travel with the White Cane? Give us a sense of how you've had to adapt over the years.
Well, I got very involved with the Sight Center here in Erie, and they've helped me immensely. I have dots on my stove so I can, know the temperature and what I'm doing on the stove so I can cook.
Right.
I have not used a White Cane much. I'm starting to use it and train with it. I use voiceover on my phone and on my iPad, assistant technology whenever possible. I'm not real tech savvy, but I'm learning.
Yeah. So tell us about, because I met you in Pittsburgh through our dear friend Connie. Tell me how you met Connie and tell us how it came about, that you said, hey, I think I want to go to Pittsburgh for your convention.
I met Connie at the Sight Center and we just clicked and we became very good friends. And she had asked me if I would like to go with her to the convention. And I thought about it for a little bit and I thought, yes, I think that would be a good idea.
Now, have you also joined the meetings that she's been having over Zoom?
Yes, I've joined a few meetings.
Have you found those helpful?
Yes, very.
So she convinced you to come to Pittsburgh. And knowing our dear Connie, she had such a probably sweet way of convincing you, not a lot of arm twisting. Tell us in general, what did you think? Well, give us a kind of a broad view overall. How would you rate your experience? And then we'll just talk more specifically about what was most impactful.
I thought it was wonderful. The speakers were great. I went to the senior
The senior fair?
the senior fair,
Mm-hmm.
and I got some ideas of how to use things in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I enjoyed talking to everyone that I met. I liked the setup that was in the one room where you could go in and talk to different vendors. And
What would you say was, because we started Thursday with the possibilities fair, then we had our technology fair, and then seminar, and then we had the exhibit hall. Saturday there were a load of speakers, and we had the scientists doing their presentation. It was a lot going on. So let's talk more specifically about what was most enjoyable or most,
I
most fascinating, whatever.
I really, really enjoyed the speaker, especially the one from Utah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, our national representative.
Yeah,
Yes, he
Carl.
was
Yeah.
wonderful.
So, what was it about his speech that moved you?
Well, he was very motivating.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what he could tell about his life and what's
Yeah.
happened with he and his family and how he's adapted to things.
It's really a journey, isn't it, Shirley? This whole vision thing, like you're having to tweak things along the way. Was it helpful to hear that you were not alone, if there are a lot of other people that have had to do the same thing?
Yes, lots of support from different people.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, I know my family, they don't quite understand what it's like not to see
Yeah.
because they have the vision.
Yeah.
And my daughter-in-law said to me the other day, "Don't you think it's time to go into assisted living?"
Oh
And I said,
dear.
"I'm not ready for that. I
Yeah.
live by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I can adapt by paying my bills. I have
Mm-hmm.
a thing to put over the register so I can write my bills and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I use the CT machine to
Mm-hmm.
enlarge.
Mm-hmm.
I use Be My Eyes a
Mm-hmm.
lot.
Good for you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you don't have to go into assistant living. You can do it on your own.
Right. That's the thing, is to use the tools that are available so that you stay away from the assisted living as long as you can. So you have that independence. And as Carl was saying during his speech, imagine being a salesman where you're going into different markets when you can't see and there's nothing called Uber or Lyft. So you've got to figure out how you're going to get to all your appointments when you're outside of your local area. So again, like you say, how moving that was, to literally moving how he figured everything out before the way things are today. And it is a lot easier today because of that, because you can take your phone out of your pocket and get somebody to come and pick you up and take you to an appointment or to the store or whatever. And then when you're at the store, you have those tools, whether it's Ira, if you're at Target, or Be My Eyes, or any of them, to get around the store and get what you need.
Definitely. See, when I moved from Oil City, we had no services. We don't have taxi cabs. We don't have buses. There was no transportation, but I had a wonderful church group and friends that would take me to doctor's appointments and take me to the store to get my groceries. Where here, I can be way more dependent. I can call Lyft, or I can call
Mm-hmm.
the site center to take me to the doctor's appointments. So I don't have to rely on friends to do it all the time.
So now you have a different answer for your daughter-in-law. No, it's not time for me to go into an assisted living, but it is time for me to learn more tools. And you will figure that out. You will figure out as you are living your daily life, you know what? If I had a device that helped me read signs, you will discover the different tools, and you'll probably learn something like all the time, because things are ever evolving. But that's now your answer. Like, nope, but I probably could use some more training in things.
Yes, I live in a development here, and my one friend that I met here, he and his wife, they're amazed at the things that I have in my house that talk
Mm-hmm.
to me and that
Mm-hmm.
help me get around and that I can cook. I put on,
Mm-hmm.
big dinners and have people in,
Mm-hmm.
and they just don't understand how I can do that. They were fascinated with the pen friend. I use that for my medications, and I use that for my seasonings because I can't read them. So I use the pen friend.
And from what I remember, you and I had a chance to talk a little bit before the recording. You're a terrific candy maker, correct?
I like to cook, and I like to make candy and do hors d'oeuvres. Yes, I like to entertain.
What kind of candy do you make?
I made Buckeyes the other day. I made chocolate covered cashews. I dipped pretzels in chocolate. Um, and then I make homemade caramels.
Sounds like we have something for next year's auction.
I can do that.
What are Buckeyes?
Buckeyes those are from Ohio, actually.
Right.
They're a peanut butter ball that's dipped in chocolate.
Oh my gosh.
And they just melt in your
They're
mouth.
kind of like a
my
Reese's peanut
gosh,
butter
yeah.
cup, except more of a ball or dome type of thing.
I roll them and I put them in the refrigerator and freeze them, and then I individually dip them with a toothpick, and then I cover the hole up, which it's getting harder and harder for me to see that little hole, but I judge where it is, and I can do it. I do a lot by feel anymore.
Yeah.
I've learned to use tactile.
Right. Right. Good for you. Good for you. So you did mention learning about some new things to help you around the kitchen. Tell us about that.
They have talking, and I didn't realize this, they have talking measuring cups. Which I did not know. Yeah. I know they have Braille measuring spoons, but I don't know Braille, but I'm going to start to learn
good for you.
The basic in Braille, so I can use that too.
I didn't know there were talking measuring cups. I have some large, very large number measuring cups, but I don't think I knew that there were talking measuring cups.
So both wet and dry?
Yes. Yeah. I use, I have a candy thermometer that talks to me, so I can make my candies. I have a meat thermometer that talks to me. My blood pressure cuff talks to me, so I can take my blood pressure to keep track of that. It's amazing what they have out there.
I am so with you on that. I just got myself a talking blood pressure cuff, and it is so helpful. I'm a little disappointed in my talking meat thermometer because it's been off. I burnt things waiting for that magic number. But good for you. You're finding more and more tools that'll help you stay independent. What would you say, Shirley, to someone else who maybe in a similar condition like you over the years is realizing, they're having more vision loss and adapting? That's, it's very difficult. I also lost my vision much, much later in life. So I spent many, many, many years with my vision being to the point where it was correctable and I was still driving. And it's a difficult transition because a part of you still even thinks, wait, I should be able to do this because I used to be able to see this. But how would you encourage anyone who is maybe just in the beginning stages of adjusting to vision loss and just maybe it's someone who has a family member that's saying the same thing to them, like, hey, maybe it's time to throw in a towel and go into some sort of assisted living program. What would be your encouragement?
You just can't give up. You got to see what's out there and strive to, do life the way you want to do it. I don't want to just sit here and not be able to do the things that I used to do. Right. So I look for things that will help me to get through what I need to get through and do what I want to do.
Have you encountered people like that or in their early stages of adjusting to vision loss?
It's funny you said that because Heidi, who comes and helps me with my technology occasionally, she has a patient, and she, of course, didn't reveal names or anything, but she's very reluctant to leave her house now because she can't see that well. Yeah. And I told Heidi I'd be more than willing to talk to her if she would like to talk to me. And Heidi has recommended going to the Vision Center because they teach you to cook and they show you things that you can use to help, in the kitchen. We do crafts, but she hasn't reached out to me yet, but maybe she will.
Yeah. Did you ever think that you would be in the position of being a mentor?
Well, I've mentored student teachers. I was a teacher for 36 years. And so I've mentored children a long time, and I'm an encourager. I'm not one to sit down and do nothing.
What, if anything, did you come away with that you're doing differently now?
Well, one of the things is I got a white cane.
Okay.
So if I need to use that, down the road, I have one and I can use it.
You got the cane at the convention, or since coming back you got one? Okay.
No, since coming back I got one.
So so the Sight Center, do they offer the mobility training for you?
They don't have a mobility trainer right now. Yeah. But Connie, God love Connie, she's been helping me.
We love Connie.
Yep.
Well, Shirley, did you have any other thoughts and reflections that you wanted to share?
Anyone that wants to go next year to Harrisburg, I'd say go for it.
Yeah.
It's a great time.
Yeah. And you have people there that speak your language, like literally.
And everybody understands you.
Right. Yes. And understands what you're going through.
Shirley, thanks so much for joining us today.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Thanks again to Shirley for coming on and giving her perspective of this year's NFB of Pennsylvania State Convention in Pittsburgh. And Lisa, as you said in the intro, it was not an uneventful event. Besides all the good things that went on, hearing from the astronomers telling us how they teach astronomy to blind kids, blind students, I should say, because they're not always kids. Just a lot of good things going on that Shirley touched on there.
Yeah, it was a very, very good convention. Kudos to the planning committee. I think it was probably one of the more interesting ones. I mean, that Possibilities Fair kickoff, Friday, where the scientists presented was great. I unfortunately missed the latter half of it, but it was very good. It was very eventful, very well put together.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Dr. Hurd and Dr. Marone and Dan Gardner with their presentation on Friday afternoon. And that was what I was really looking forward to, especially since we had them on. And it's funny, you had mentioned someone wanted to see them talk on Saturday, and everything they said on Saturday was what they had said when they talked to Emily and I on episode 51. So we can just play that back for that person who wanted to see them, and she'll get the same effect. So
they did not disappoint.
Yeah, they were outstanding.
Very well.
Yeah, they were just outstanding, and and very different from any of the other conventions that I've been to as far as that session goes. The hour and a half just flew by. There was all sorts of
very interactive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the books that Dr. Hurd brought, and the little 3D printed model of Orion that Dr. Marone brought, just outstanding to go through and get a crash course, pardon the pun, on astronomy, tactile astronomy. It was just a lot of fun. So I guess that's something you should put on your calendar for next year. Next year's convention is going to be in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, the same time frame. And just going from recollection, I want to say it's the 9th to the 12th of November, in that ballpark. Second week of November, basically, is when the 2023 National Federation of the Blind of Pennsylvania State Convention will be in Harrisburg, which, at least for us on the eastern end of the state, makes it a lot easier and a lot quicker to get to. Only a couple of hours by Amtrak, and many choices, which we didn't have going to Pittsburgh.
Look forward to that. Thank you again, Shirley. Great to have her perspective. She was wonderful reflections and very encouraging to anyone else in her situation, maybe new to vision loss.
Yes, and I'm hoping she's at next year's convention and she's bringing some candy for the auction.
Yeah, especially those Buckeyes.
I love Buckeyes. Some of the other things she mentioned, the caramels or caramels, depending on how you pronounce it, but whatever, delicious. So I don't want to get that stuck in your head, Shirley, but please, next year, candy. And Connie can bring her cookies too, because I enjoyed those. I won those at an auction. The auction is always my most enjoy. I mean, there's a lot of great things to learn there, but there's nothing better than Denise auctioning stuff off. It is just outstanding. It was the most fun I've ever had. And I remember the first convention I went to, Denise going through everything. And I have to say that since I started coming, and I've only been to probably 4 or 5 state conventions, the quality of the stuff that now is there is a lot better than at the beginning. I mean, Connie's cookies have always been there, it seems, but some of the other stuff, just outstanding. The JT Realmuto bat that was auctioned off, all sorts of cool things. And again, that's usually the Friday night of state convention is the auction/talent show. It's a lot of fun.
And you won an auction, and we each won a door prize.
That's right. That's right. And I won the very last door prize, and it was the exact one that I wanted because it had a bottle of water in it, and that's what I needed for the ride home. Before we go, let's talk about the phone numbers so you can reach out, give us your feedback, questions, comments, show ideas. Maybe you have a tip. Shirley was talking about cooking. Maybe you have a way of doing something in the kitchen that could help everybody else. Remember, it might only help one person, but if it helps one person, how outstanding would that be? If you could help someone in the kitchen not burn something, not burn their house down, tell how something's done, whatever. If you've got a tip, a question, a comment, show idea, please reach out 267-338-4495. You have up to 3 minutes. Leave your name and town. If you do leave a message, we'll use it on an upcoming episode. And remember, it really might help somebody out. Again, 267-338-4495.
And there's also the option to email us, and there's no limit or how long your email can be. And that address is whitecanesconnect@gmail.com.
Lisa, it was a fun show today. It was great to catch up with Shirley.
Yes, it was. Take care, everybody.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Take care.